Alright guys, we got our 09 CTSV here. You go to grab the door handle and the door will not unlatch, and it will also not unlock at times, very periodically. So we're going to take this door panel off. This is on the rear passenger side. I've already done the rest of the car. It has been a while since I made a video, so please bear with me. Most of the tools you're going to need, you're going to need a Phillips bit of some type with a long extension or an actual screwdriver. I'm going to use that drill to take this apart and put it back together. You're going to need a little flat screwdriver to pick some of these pieces of plastic paneling off. So those are your main tools you really need, and a T30 star bit. You're absolutely going to need a T30 star bit. No questions asked. So there are 3 screws in this thing. One right here in this piece of plastic behind this door handle. You'll pull out on this handle, reach in right back here at the very back corner, and you'll reach in there right there between that and that chrome piece, kind of pry out just really gently. It'll come out. And then there's a screw right here in the door handle and a screw right here in the door handle. You're going to reach down here on this bottom edge in between this plastic, number one, so you can't see it if you do any damage, but number two, because you shouldn't damage it, you're going to pop this piece of plastic off. There is a piece of plastic at the back side of this that is going to retain this holder on. There we go. You do not want to pop this piece of plastic off and try to break this out here. You want to just kind of freely wiggle it like that, fold it down. Now, a little hard to see because of lighting, but if you look up in here, there's a screw. Right there's a screw. I'm going to attempt this. It's right down in here. Just kind of lightly, gently wiggle, jiggle, and pop. Comes right off. Okay. Keep all your screws and stuff together. If you're doing it in a gravel driveway like me, you will probably lose them if not. Number one pro tip, make sure this window is up. If you do not, you'll be redoing some things, I promise. Alright guys, we're gonna take our drill, used and abused of course. That's 1. 2. 3. Next tip is going to be get a magnetic tipped screwdriver, maybe like this. Let's see if this will work. Try to reach up in there, pick the screws out. Okay guys, I'm going to try to catch this. I've already missed it once, so let's see if this will work. You can tell I've already loosened this up. What I did, I took my fingers right here, put the knee down here on the bottom of the door like I showed you. Pop, 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 pull, lift up, comes right off. Now, get into the next fun side. There is, right here, a cable connected. If you see that cable, right here, this cable spins into that after you get it loose. So, you have to push in down here and pop these little locks without breaking said cable. There we go. Alright, so I got it popped loose here. Pull back, pull around, and then straight up, and it pops right out. Now, the entire door panel is off. Very simple. You see the white retainers? That's what really lines it up in the holes with the door. There's the switch. There's the inside of your mechanism. Right here, you can see how it goes, falls straight down and then spins, locks in, and then there's a groove cut out for the cable to go through, and you just push it through the hole and it latches in. Very, very simple. Recommend setting the door panel inside the car so it doesn't get damaged. Here's a good look at your cable. These are the 2 little locks that you're pushing in, they're plastic, so you don't want to just pull and yank and rip. So once you get all that done, you're gonna look. I'm gonna go on and take my snazzy little door lock knob off here. Long story short, if you don't, it's gonna be a pain and it's probably gonna get broken. It's absolutely gonna get scratched or damaged. Very simple. Pop out this piece of rubber right here in the door, guaranteed to be in the way. Then you're gonna grab this. This is that inside foam, kind of like a plastic. It is glued on, and you just lightly, gently, not ever so gently, maybe even tug and pull. And what you're doing is gaining access to this cavity back in here. As you can tell, a cavity, there's your cable that you just took off that went to your door handle. So this cavity right here, that's where your hand's going to go. On the back side of this yellow little block here is the same style, 2 little clips, and you're going to have to push those with your fingers or a pair of pliers to get that out. You may have to push in. No, absolutely struggling one-handed. Pull this off or not. Let's see. Right up in here. See, one. The other one doesn't want to come out. We'll dance around with the pair. Got it out. Still live. Hopefully I got that. And then put your cable out. So now you've got your cable fed out. This fed out. This right here, that is actually part of the harness. You might as well wiggle and jiggle, because I feel like it has to come out. It did on the other side to be able to get the rod in and out, make things move. It just wasn't enough. I'll take my screwdriver here, maybe. Kind of push in, try to get the locks pushed up inside the hole. A lot easier to do with 2 hands. If you have 2 hands, real gently pull on the back, push these in, it'll pop right out. Very, very gently. There you go. So, one hand, that's about a 30-second situation at very most. Now comes into play your T30. So your T30 screws, one above, one below. You'll take those out with a drill. You'll change your bits. Okay. And again, T30. Swap it out with your Phillips bit. Got one. Tighten the chuck back up on my old drill here because it just ain't much. That's it. Two, right down the gravel, right where they don't need to be. Alright, now we've got to finagle this thing down and around and all kinds of out. So I'll pull this down from the window track. Now if you look in there, see that red? That's the wire lock. So we're going to reach in there with a flat screwdriver and pick that and pop that out. You can pull it out, I'm sure. If you want to stretch the wires and pull with this car, 13 years old, I don't know how much I trust stretching wires and popping and pulling. Feels like a good way to have a piece of a harness needed. So you just push straight up on that lock, down in there. Now you can see I'm sticking my finger down inside that lock and just trying to pull up on it. And. 'em. 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 can't see, but the harness is unhooked. So there's also a latch on the back side of this. It's a rod that hooks to that, and you have to pop it as well, blindly. If you pop it blindly, it will come right out. This is the latch I was talking about popping on the rod. That's an adjustable latch. So when you put it all back in, you just spin it, put the rod in it, and lock it, and everything self-adjusts. Pretty slick, as long as you don't have tension on it anyway. You will be reusing this rod. That's the actual rod that your door lock goes on, that sticks up out the mechanical side of it. So you just twist it and spin it. It's just a hook, so it just goes in, twist, hook. Let's pull it out. And then you also need to take this cable off on the other end. Same exact design. It's got the two tabs right there that you push in. So this should be a little better view of what's happening. So you push tab down, gentle pull, push right out. Tab down, gentle pull, pops right out. Very simple. The only difference, this one don't have the slot up top. It's a complete circle. There's no actual slot to come out of, but the piece that it goes in is slotted. So it's very easy to slide it out. You can just go in there and just push on it. Bam, pops out, cable's out. Don't forget the orientation of that cable. It has plastic on one end, little steel knot on the other end. It does matter which way it's oriented, and it will not go back in. This is the door lock mechanism. Pretty sure I got this off of Rock Auto. They've been laying there for about 3 months. I'm almost 100% positive. So pull it out. Of course, you're going to want to look at it, set them side by side, make sure they look the same. You don't want to do anything silly, break anything, of course, until you get it fixed. But if you notice, I've already popped the orange lock off of here that comes from Rock Auto, because I found out on the other side it doesn't fit quite right, and I don't like how it works. It's not very smooth. This is the same exact design as everything else. You push the little tabs in. Real lightly push those tabs in. And just lightly pull. There's your picture of your tabs really good. Comes right out. Turn around. Bam, pop it right back in. This is what you were trying to accomplish with the rod on it. So it's latched. You just kind of pull up on it and it pops right open. Lets the latch come out. So, long story short, there they are, ready to go back together. I'm gonna set it here in the gravel, which is not the smartest thing to do, but I trust myself. Now, through the hole here with your plastic end, just like it came out. You're gonna pull up on this latch just a little bit. Of course, there's your mechanisms working. I pop them because this was actually locked when I got it. Now it's unlocked, so when you go to shut the door, if you don't pop that while you're putting it together, it's not going to shut, and you're going to think you've done something wrong. I'm not going to say you won't damage it. Possible. Shouldn't. Possible. Here's your rod going in. Better if I had the camera in the right place. Now, that's what it looks like when you put it together backwards. Really easy to pull it out, spin it around. Right, now, that's more what the final product should look like. And that goes toward the latch that shuts into the car, and the reason it does that is so it can wiggle its way up through and out the door. Alright, we're ready to go in now. So we're going through our access hole, of course, just like we did. I'm going to hold on to the rod. That's pretty much the only chance you have of putting that thing in for sure is the rod. So this may take 2 hands and I may be in trouble. No, I got it through there. Okay. Hopefully I'm catching some of this. I'm going to have to open her 2 hands. Can I finagle around some harnesses. I think I'm having harness issues. I'm on the wrong side of the harness, and I know this because I've already been there. There it goes. I don't know if I'm catching any of this or not, but I'm trying. So, the little actuator right here, gonna go in the harness. It's caught right there on the wrong side. I need to get on the back side of that harness. Okay, so I've got a light here trying to show you, but if you look up in there, what I've done, you see a harness there. I have trapped that harness between that locking mechanism and the door, the inner of this door. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but when I put it up in there, it won't fit. I've already seen all this, so I know it's not going to fit. Here's your actuator. And there it is. I'm going to try to pull it back out. The harness can be plugged up last. You can see part of the actuator there. So see this light is shining on this rod. That is actually the rod that comes from the outside door handle. You have to flip that around to the back side of that as you're pulling it up. Roof. Now, I have one hand inside holding this thing where it belongs. You can see your holes, see your actual threads in your holes. You know you lined up pretty good. And you cram 2 screws in it. So, got your screws in it. Now you want to tighten them up. Good deal. Now, got this thing up here, this cable, we'll run it through the hole. Alright, now we want to take this cable, we'll run it back through the foam on the door panel, get it back up here. Of course, you want to go on and clip it where it belongs. We also are going to want to go inside this door, hook up the electric. So, I get in here, you can see the electric. Right there's the electric. So you're going to want to reach in there and push down on that. I'm sure plugging the electric up is easier outside, but that was really easy. Too easy to me to worry about it. The only other thing is we need to get that rod inside of that yellow retainer right there and latch it, which is pretty simple. That should be adjusted. So, this point on, just got to put your foam here. Actually, we got a harness in here we pulled off. I mean, I forget. Got your little hole down here. Just reach in there and pop your harness back through. Fold your foam around. That glue that's on there is reusable. It's not going to attach perfectly. It'll take it some heat. But I've had these off before, and you've seen how hard it was to get it off. I think the last set I bought off eBay. They were something cheap. They lasted about 3 years. So hopefully these ones from Rock Auto are better. I'm just gonna go around and make sure they're all plugged in. There's your electric cord or electric hookup you're talking about. This right here is where your white dot goes in to align this plug. There's one there, then there's one back here that's gonna go in. Ready to put the door panel back on. Almost forgot. I didn't put my little rubber gasket on this rod. That's all there is to it. And put the door panel back on, put our nifty little chrome end on it. Okay. If you look at the front, you see that hole? You gotta get the door panel lifted into that hole. Get that white, there it goes. And then it's gonna line itself up perfectly. Same thing was over here. See if I can get around there. You see the pins are lining themselves up. Then you just draw back and push. I pulled the door to me there, so I'm not pushing against the hinge and trying to tear it up. A little bit on the bottom, so I'm gonna push in a little more. Now, look up in here. See your hole is pretty much lined up. Same thing in here. Hole is lined up, so we'll get your screws and put in it. Gotta get our bit back in our drill. I'm gonna take our T30 out, put in our number 2 Phillips bit. I'm gonna try to use the drill and the magnetized end on it. I guarantee you, if you crank down on these things, you probably bust that door panel. So be very careful. Alright, now, there's that tab of plastic I was talking about holding that on. You don't want to pull that off and break it. You can see the alignment tang right here. That alignment tang's got to go up into that hole. There are little spots down through here that line up with these pieces of metal right here. Those little spots have to go in there. Then there's tangs on the end of this thing that have to be lined up inside of this door panel up here. If you don't get those in there, it will not go together right. When you put it in, all you do is just feel of it and you just squeeze it. If you look, it all went back together good. Got one more piece of plastic. Go in here. Should be able. Just drop it in the hole. Okay, I did have to operate the latch a little bit. I pulled out on it, pushed the front in, and then the rear popped right in.